He stood on the altar, staring into the veil of the female concept he loved. But while she lifted it, his complete world fell apart. What he saw beneath that veil might get to the bottom of the entirety he believed about love, consider, and a lady who had stolen his coronary heart. This isn't always just a love story. That is a tale about deception, survival, and the damaging price of wanting to be cherished. Earlier than we go any further, can I ask you for one small favor? This story took me days to write, file, and edit. Each frame, every emotion, every sound. It costs you not anything to aid me, but it truly approached the entirety. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and remark your place below. I want to recognize in which my exquisite viewers are watching from. I study every single comment, and I will be giving shoutouts in my subsequent video. Today's shoutout goes to Kofi from Ghana, Amina from Nigeria, Sifo from South Africa, and Nia from Kenya. Now permits get again to the tale. Jelani wasn't born into wealth, he constructed it. By using 28, he turned into already the CEO of one of the quickest developing tech businesses in Accra. His mum used to tell him, "Jelani, when you discover the right lady, you may understand. Your coronary heart will talk earlier than your mind does." And for years, he waited. He dated fashions, lawyers, entrepreneurs. However, none of them felt proper. They cherished his fame, his wealth, the idea of him, however not him, till he met her. It became a charity gala on a moist Accra nighttime, one of these high society activities, where every person wore their satisfactory smiles and emptiest promises. Jelani hated the one's activities, but his corporation became the main sponsor, so he had no preference. He stood with the aid of the bar, scrolling through his smartphone, prepared to go away early, after which she walked in. She wasn't the loudest person inside the room. She wasn't dripping in clothier labels or disturbing attention. However, something approximately her pulled him in. She wore a simple emerald get-dressed, her hair tied again. And whilst she smiled on the children performing on degree, it was true, natural. Jelani could not appearance away. He approached her. "You do not appear to be. You belong right here." She grew to become amazed. "Excuse me. I imply everybody here is pretending. However, you really care." She laughed softly. "Perhaps I'm just better at pretending." Her call became Zuri. As a minimum, that's what she advised him. They talked for hours that night about lifestyles, approximately dreams, approximately how lonely fulfillment can be. She informed him she labored with an NGO helping trafficked girls. She said she believed each person deserved a 2D threat. Jelani fell for her that night, no longer just for her splendor, but for her coronary heart, or what he thought became her coronary heart. They began seeing each different. Coffee dates at small cafes, dinners at hidden eating places, lengthy drives alongside the Labadi coast, where they talked until sunrise. She made him chuckle. She listened when he pointed out the strain of going for walks, a organization. 3 months in, Jelani brought her to his mom. Mom and Keiichi turned into tough, failed to accept as true with effortlessly. However, while she met Zuri, something shifted. "This one is exclusive. Jelani," she stated after dinner. "She's humble, respectful. Do not let her cross." 6 months later, he proposed on a non-public beach in Ada. With waves crashing in the back of them, he got down on one knee. "Zuri, I don't know what my existence was earlier than you, but I recognize I don't need an existence without you. Will you marry me?" She cried. She stated yes, and Jelani notion he was the luckiest man alive. But there was a person else inside the tale, a person who have been looking from the shadows all alongside. Her call become Amara. Amara changed into Zuri's cousin, quiet, soft-spoken. the sort of man or woman who blended into the history at family gatherings. She labored as an instructor in a small college, coaching youngsters who couldn't find the money for private schooling. She failed to chase attention. She just lived, hoping sooner or later someone could see her for who she truly changed into. And someone had. Jelani. Earlier than Zuri, there was Amara. 3 months earlier than the charity gala, Jelani had met her at a bookshop in Kumasi. He changed into shopping for a present, whilst he noticed a young woman absolutely absorbed in Kwame Soyinka's poetry. He approached her. "Right, Desire," he stated. She looked up startled. "Oh, thank you. I've examined it 3 times already." They talked for over an hour, approximately poetry, approximately vintage Nollywood movies, approximately the form of love that felt like domestic. She was different. She didn't apprehend him, failed to recognize who he was. She just talked to him like he become normal. They exchanged numbers, started speaking each day. Lengthy cell phone calls that stretched into the night. Jelani felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace, consolation. He invited her to the charity gala. She turned into hesitant, but finally agreed. She made one mistake. She advised Zuri. Zuri had always lived in Amara's shadow. Growing up, Amara turned into the smart one, the type one. Instructors praised her. Family doted on her. Guys observed her quiet beauty. Zuri became beautiful too. But splendor fades when you have not anything else to provide. While Amara informed her about Jelani throughout her own family dinner, displaying his photograph and blushing, something in Zuri snapped. A billionaire, a way out of poverty, a way to in the end be the one chosen. So she did something unforgivable. The day before the gala, Zuri prepared clean juice for the circle of relatives, but in Amara's glass, she introduced overwhelmed tablets, no longer sufficient to kill her, simply enough to make her violently unwell. With the aid of evening, Amara became bedridden, feverish, vomiting. She known as Jelani, crying, apologizing. "I am so sorry. I cannot make it day after today." Jelani became dissatisfied, however, expertise. "Get well soon. We will reschedule." But they never did because Zuri went to the gala in her region. She knew Jelani had never visible Amara's face, truly. They'd simplest talked at the cell phone and exchanged blurry photos. The cousins looked similar enough. Zuri studied the whole lot, approximately Amara. Her mannerisms, the manner she spoke, her favored subjects. And that night, Zuri have become Amara. Jelani by no means knew, while he noticed her walk in, wearing that emerald get dressed, while she quoted Soyinka. He concept his prayers have been replied. The deception turned into best. Over the subsequent months, Zuri performed her position flawlessly. She memorized every communication, each element. She became the female Jelani had fallen for on the smartphone. But Amara was lacking. After the gala, Amara tried to reach Jelani. She called, she texted. However, her wide variety had been blocked. Zuri had taken her cell phone while she turned into unwell and deleted everything. Then she informed their own family that Amara had run off with some guy and failed to need to be determined. The circle of relatives changed into shocked, however now not totally amazed. Amara had always been a dreamer. It was smooth to trust, but Amara did not go away. She turned into trapped. Zuri's mom, Mama and Oba changed into drowning in debt. Scientific bills, school charges, rent. Zuri came to her with a plan. She hesitated for simplest a moment. "This is for the circle of relatives," she advised Amara, as she locked her in a small house in a remote village. "Jelani's cash will keep us all. You will apprehend one day." Amara screamed. She begged. She pounded on doors till her fingers bled. However, no one came. The village became isolated. and Mama and Oba had paid pals nicely to disregard any noise. Days was weeks. Weeks turned into months. Amara misplaced weight, misplaced hope. She stared out barred windows, thinking if everybody become looking for her. No person was. Meanwhile, the wedding became being deliberate. The venue was luxurious. The get-dressed was imported. The visitor listing covered governors and CEOs. Jelani's mum helped with every element, and Zuri performed her role flawlessly. However, something odd passed off 2 days before the marriage. Jelani's motive force, Chica, approached him nervously. "Oga, I found something. It fell out of one of the gift-packing containers." He passed Jelani an envelope. Interior became a handwritten letter. The handwriting became shaky, desperate. "She took my location. Help me, please. I'm in Ogamoso village, the yellow house close to the antique church. She's now not who you think she is. No name, no signature, simply those words." Jelani stared on the letter. "Who gave you this?" "I do not know, sir. It became just there." Jelani folded it, hands shaking. It needed to be a prank. Some jealous ex trying to smash his wedding. It failed to make feel, but deep down something felt wrong. He kept the letter, driven it to the lower back of his thoughts, but it haunted him. The marriage day arrived. The inn turned transformed into paradise. 300 guests filled the seats. Cameras flashed. The whole thing was ideal. Jelani stood at the altar trying to calm his nerves. His mother sat in the front row, beaming. This became the day she had prayed for. The music began. The doorways opened. And there she became, strolling down the aisle in a sparkling white robe, her face hidden at the back of a veil. She reached him. The priest started out. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Jelani and Zuri in holy matrimony." Jelani slightly heard the words. He became looking at her eyes via the veil. Something approximately them seemed special. Now not heat, afraid, determined. The priest persevered. "If all people right here has any cause, why these two need to no longer be wed. Communicate now, or for all time maintain your peace." Silence. And then the church doors burst open. An old lady stumbled in, out of breath, her wrapper dusty and torn. "Forestall. Stop this wedding ceremony proper now." The entire church gasped. Jelani's mom shot up. "Who's this woman? Security!" However, the antique lady driven forward. "That isn't always the real bride. That female is a liar." The church erupted in whispers. Jelani stared at the old girl, then at Zuri. "What is she speaking approximately?" Zuri's face went faded. "Jelani, I'm able to explain." "Explain what?" And then from at the back of the vintage female, another parent stepped into the church. She becomes skinny, too skinny. Her garments had been torn. Her feet have been bare and bleeding. However, her face became unmistakable. It changed into Amara. Jelani's global stopped. "Amara," she nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Jelani, it's me. It has always been me." The church fell silent. Jelani looked between the two girls, his thoughts racing. Zuri fell to her knees, her veil slipping off. "Jelani, please let me give an explanation for." However, Jelani could not pay attention her. He became gazing Amara, the female whose voice he had fallen asleep to, the girl who had disappeared. "How is that this viable?" Amara advanced, voice shaking. "She took my vicinity, Jelani. After the gala, she pretended to be me. She poisoned me so I could not move. She blocked my number. She told everybody I ran away, after which she locked me up. She and her mother locked me in a residence and left me there." Gasps stuffed the room. Jelani's mother clutched her chest. Zuri sobbed. "I did not imply for it to head this some distance. I just wanted to be cherished just as soon as. I desired a person to choose me, so that you stole her life. Jelani's voice became cold. I am sorry. I in no way desired to harm anybody. My family was drowning. We had nothing. I concept I ought to make you happy by way of locking my cousin in a room for 6 months. Amara's voice cut through. By means of stealing the whole lot from me. Zuri had no solution. She simply cried. Jelani grew to become to his mum. Did you recognize? His mother seemed away. Did you? No. She hesitated. I suspected. But I notioned Zuri would be true for you. Properly for the circle of relatives' name. Amara was too easy. Jelani felt betrayed. No longer simply via Zuri, however by his very own mother. Without a word, he walked out of the church, beyond the guests, past the decorations, beyond the whole thing. The weeks that observed were dark. Jelani closed down absolutely, stopped going to paintings, disregarded calls. He just sat in his penthouse replaying each second, wondering how he'd been so blind. Zuri disappeared. Nobody knew wherein she went. Amara attempted to attain out, but he would not see her. Not because he blamed her, however, due to the fact each time he idea about her, he changed into reminded of the lie. 6 months exceeded. Then Jelani obtained an invite. Yeah, you're invited to the release of the Amara basis, a secure space for girls who've misplaced their identification through lies, abuse, and trafficking. He nearly did not cross. However, something made him. Whilst he arrived, the corridor became complete. Younger girls sharing their tales, households reuniting. Wish stuffed the air, and then he saw her. Now not Amara, Zuri. She was on the return, quietly assisting set up chairs. She looked one of a kind, thinner. Her hair become cut short, no makeup. She regarded broken. Their eyes met. She walked over slowly. I failed to suppose you would come, she whispered. I failed to suppose you'd be right here. Amara let me volunteer. I do not deserve it. However, she forgave me. I don't apprehend why. Because that's who she is. Zuri nodded, tears forming. I realize what I did became unforgivable. However, I am attempting. Every day I am trying to be better. Jelani checked out her, the female who had lied to him, who had stolen 6 months of his life. But he additionally saw a damaged woman who had been so desperate to experience cherished that she destroyed herself. You don't should forgive me, Zuri stated. I just want you to recognize I am sorry. Jelani took a breath. I'm now not prepared to forgive you. No longer yet, but I'm hoping someday I will apprehend. Zuri nodded. It's extra than I deserve. Later that evening, Jelani observed Amara outside, searching at the stars. You gave her a second chance, he stated. Amara smiled. Everybody merits one, even those who hurt us. I do not know if I am that strong. You just don't know it yet. They stood in silence. Then Jelani spoke. I am sorry for everything, for not spotting you, for now not preventing more difficult. Amara turned to him. You didn't recognize. None of this become your fault. However, I need to have recognized. Love makes us blind every so often. It truly is no longer a weak point. It truly is being human. Jelani checked out her, honestly looked at her. The quiet electricity, the kindness that survived hell, the forgiveness most people could in no way have. Are we able to begin over? He requested. Amara smiled. I would like that. 12 months later, Jelani and Amara had been married. No longer in a grand church with loads of visitors, but in a small lawn surrounded by folks that clearly mattered. Youngsters from Amara's school, close friends, Jelani's mother, who had spent the year earning again agree with, and girls from the Amara Foundation. Zuri wasn't there. She had moved to an exceptional metropolis, started out a brand new life, continued her quiet paintings of making amends, but she dispatched a letter. Thank you for showing me what actual love looks as if. Now, not the kind that takes, but the kind that gives. I pray you both discover all the happiness I attempted to scouse borrow. You deserve it. Jelani folded the letter carefully. He failed to hate her anymore. He pitied her, and in an abnormal way, he understood her. Due to the fact from time to time, the individuals who harm us the most are the ones hurting the most themselves. On occasion, love isn't always about who we pick first. It's about who we forgive ultimate. And perhaps it is about learning that the truth, irrespective of how painful, is always better than the most lovely lie. Thank you a lot for looking this story. If it touched you, please hit that subscribe button proper now, and please drop a remark and allow me recognize your location. I want to understand where my incredible viewers are looking from, and I'll be giving shoutouts in my next video. Your assist approached the arena.